That would be
You know,
nice.
maybe not. I don't know. It's crazy.
We'll see. You never know.
I'm glad it had some impact, though.
Then thank you very much.
All right.
Joe Clark is being suspended with pay for 5 days because of a revealing act in a student variety show last month. The bullhorn-toting principal was away from Paterson, New Jersey's Eastside High School at the time, promoting the movie about himself called Lean on Me. But he did give permission for the show to go on, and he says he'll take the heat.
For these puritanical demagogues to jump on me and to pounce away at me, especially when I wasn't even here, I think is the essence of some type of surreptitious attack. And I deplore that.
And the organizers of the show say they do not understand the fuss. MTV shows the same kind of thing. Still ahead, Nick has a nice outlook for the weekend weather.
People in the news, the ever-surprising Joe Clark, the principal of Eastside High School in Paterson, New Jersey, has been suspended. And here's the punchline. He did it to himself. The result of the show put on in the school auditorium earlier this year, it was a bit too sexually suggestive for some, so Clark announced today that he himself will take the heat.
As principal, I am in charge of this building, whether I'm here or not. It just happened on that day in question, I was not in the building. But in any event, I'm still responsible.
And a bit later, Clark said his suspension will run for 5 days, and it starts next Monday.
John, as you know, Joe Clark is the subject of a new movie about his real-life adventures of a high school principal. Another movie, which is opening tomorrow, touches more on the world of family.
Continues to move a lot of tape. And we'll take a look at how Joe Clark's school is reacting to the film that's based on his life, Lean on Me. Stay with us.
Don't forget you have to see
on the big picture.
Lean on me
On
MTV.
Take her back! Back this way! Up a bit! Okay! Let her go!
Well, I'm the Che Guevara.
Chris Connolly back with you here on The Big Picture on MTV. Let's get cranking with our Big Five countdown of the most popular movies in America this week. And making its debut at number 5 is Dream a Little Dream, the latest movie from Corey Incorporated. You know, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. Feldman, in fact, even dances in this movie, and he says he did his own choreography.
The style is the same as Michael Jackson, but it's two different, you know, I mean, it's not like I did any of his moves. What happened was, you know, I did a style which, like New Edition, Bobby Brown, I mean, all these groups of musicians do this moves, the style of dance, and I basically just incorporated it into my own way of dancing, you know.
Oh, do you see Meredith Salinger smiling back there? She must be the greatest actress in the world. Well, Dustin Hoffman's Rain Man, in its zillionth week of release, still managed to make a whopping $4 million last weekend, giving it the number 4 spot on the countdown. And another Oscar nominee, Tom Hanks, keeps riding the countdown this week, as The Burbs drops 2 places to number 3. You know, Hanks in the movie just can't stop watching his weird neighbors, the Klopeks. And Carrie Fisher says he's really just like the rest of us.
I think there's more fascination with the Klopeks. I mean, you know, I don't know about you, but watch some TV sometime. There are these shows on, you know, he killed 8 people, tune in next, and you know, he seemed like a nice guy. And these are real shows. So that there is a fascination for the macabre, or the sensational, which I have. It's called rubbernecking.
Well, why don't you go say hi?
Well, yeah, I guess I could.
You know, this would be the perfect time because you could go up and talk to him. We could see what he's like, you know. Go.
You could go say hi to him, too, you know.
Yeah, but he's your neighbor.
Well, no, he's your neighbor as well.
No, but I'm over. You share a property line with him. He's
yeah,
like...
we're all on the same block, so, I mean, you could go, too. So.
No, we're all in the same town, too, but you're right next to him. if he was ever going to borrow anything, he'd come over to your place.
Well, he's busy now.
No, he's not busy. Now, look, he's going into... Go now, because if... I mean, he's going back in. If you were going to say hi, you should probably... There, he's going into the house. You're going to lose him, because he's going to go in... Well, there, now you've blown it, haven't you?
No, I didn't blow it. He went into his house.
Chicken?
I'm not chicken because he went into his house.
Okay, well, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is still going strong this week with a #2 finish. Not bad. Well, it's on to our #1 movie of the week, and it's a bit of a surprise, really, because this one doesn't have a big star in it. It's Lean on Me, starring Morgan Freeman as the controversial school principal, Joe Clark. Now, Freeman's really a great actor, but you've got to give credit as well to Lean on Me's director, John Avildsen, who did Rocky and The Karate Kid. He really knows how to get audiences rooting for an underdog. And we thought it'd be interesting to take our cameras to the real high school where Joe Clark prowls the halls and see what the students there thought of the movie.
Oh, you hoodlums, you thugs, you pathological deviants, you miscreants, you mutants. We are sick of you.
Times are about to change. You will not be bothered in Joe Clark's school.
Although the students of Eastside High seemed to unanimously enjoy the film, many felt that key elements of realism were lacking.
It was a lot of violence, but it wasn't as violent as they have it.
It was a good movie, but like a movie, it had to be exaggerated a little bit.
That was too fictitious. I mean, you can compare this to the Ghostbusters.
Now, I say, if you want to kill yourself, don't f around with it. Go in and do it expeditiously. Now, go in and jump.
Mr. Clark has more pizzazz, more zeal, a little more, he's a little more dynamic than Morgan Freeman.
Nobody can be like him, though, you know what I'm saying? It's just one guy like him, you know, that's just it.
The only way we're going to get anything done is to get everyone involved.
Please pick up the safety gun, lady. Come here, please.
One thing that all the students seem to agree on is Clark's effectiveness at implementing discipline. Discipline that Joe says the students appreciate.
When I hear them tell the Board of Education, if you mess with Joe Clark, we'll destroy this building brick by brick. That makes me feel good.
Can you hear me?
You don't fear anything here, not even that bullhorn.
Yeah. He helps. You know, when you're in trouble, he helps you out.
Mr. Clark helps you all the time. And if you don't have something that you need, he'll just give it to you. Personally, he's done a lot for me, and I'm thankful for that.
While some students sing Clark's praises, others describe him less fond.
Well, he asks us when we go into classes and anything. He don't see us with books, you know, get angry.
I don't think he should go around with that bullhorn because he be yelling people's names out. That's embarrassing. The baseball bat and the bullhorn, you know, I don't think he should, you know, go around the halls, you know, with it and stuff like that.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Fat Man.
I have a bullhorn, I have a baseball bat, but if kids did not love me, they would take the bullhorn and the baseball bat and simultaneously wrap them around my neck.
I don't think I'd mess with him. Well, let's have a recap, shall we? Dream a Little Dream debuts at #5, while Rain Man drops to #4. The Burbs slips to #3 after 2 weeks on top of the chart, while Bill and Ted rule at #2. And batting in the leadoff position this week is Joe Clark and Lean on Me. And that'll do it for this week's edition of The Big Picture. And our thanks again to Mary Stuart Masterson of Chances Are for stopping by. Next week, in honor of spring break, we'll have a little tribute to beach movies, so you want to check that out. Till then, this is Chris Connolly saying so long for now.
Nights at 7 on Channel 9.
The principal who's taken heat for suspending students is now on the other side. Robert Miller reports on the latest saga in the real-life drama of Joe Clark.
Eastside High continued in controversy today as students marched on the Board of Education in a demand for more bilingual teachers. Their principal, Joe Clark, no stranger to controversy, led the march. Clark had also just announced that he'd accepted a 5-day suspension for what happened at a variety show in the school auditorium. The kids may have loved it, but a vice principal didn't, and he stopped the show a few minutes later. Clark was in Los Angeles at the time, taping an appearance with Arsenio Hall. A poster for the show had been shown to Clark prior to the performance. The producer says publicity photos were also given to him. Clark says his vice principals mishandled the situation.
I was not there, but I would not have canceled. I can assure you that, an entire variety show. And the big issue here, I think,
as the man as the man responsible for that school, why didn't you find out what was in that show before
I
it went
knew
on?
what was in the show because we've had the show before. I had a poster clearly indicating.
You thought you knew.
I knew what was in that show, but based upon what has happened before. This act was something that we've never had in the last 3 years. We've had that show at Eastside High School. Last 2 years. I think maybe there was a little underhandedness involved in this process.
You mean the producer of the show was in league with somebody to try to hurt you?
I feel that there was some type of sabotage because it does not indicate honesty and integrity and veracity. It indicates some type of underhanded dealings that was aimed primarily at maybe getting attention for self-aggrandizement.
I then went to see the show's star and its producer, who was very understanding.
I believe that Mr. Clark meant that someone might have tried to sabotage him by calling in the press, who has begun to act almost like vultures, along with the people who are anti-Joe Clark, to pick literally almost the flesh off of this man who has done a lot for the school.
The kids, who, by the way, were told they probably would get more bilingual teachers, don't agree with Clark's suspension because of the stage show.
It's not right because Mr. Clark wasn't here, and what they did on the auditorium, we see it on TV. We even see more than that on TV.
So next week, Joe Clark won't physically be the man in charge here. However, it's difficult to imagine the Clark personality not influencing anything that goes on at Eastside High. In Patterson, Robert Miller, Channel 9 News.
Meanwhile, an emotional fight is tearing one small town in two. The issue is
Specialist.
A free show at Patterson's Eastside High is costing the principal a lot more than dollars, and he wasn't even there for it. Rosanna Scotto reports on the latest chapter in the Joe Clark story.
No, this is not a clip from one of those X-rated movies, nor is it a scene from a Chippendales act. This was a show that performed at a New Jersey high school, the high school where Principal Joe Clark rules with the bat.
I was not privy to any possibility of anything going askew simply because we'd had the show before and nothing of this had happened. So
Clark gave his permission for this variety show to perform at his Eastside High School last month. He was out of town at the time promoting the movie Lean On Me, which is loosely based on his life. But now the Patterson School Board wants someone to take the fall for the revealing act which caused students to scream. So Clark announced today he'll take the 5-day suspension, paid of course.
For these puritanical demagogues to jump on me and to pounce away at me, especially when I wasn't even here, I think is the essence of some type of surreptitious attack. And I deplore that.
The organizer of the show, Eric Floyd, and his fiancée, Wanda D., who actually did the performing, cannot understand all the fuss and why the curtain came down so suddenly.
This act of mine will be coming out on BET, MTV, Video Music Box. It'll be out real soon.
This show did not make anyone go out and someone and make a baby or go out and shoot up drugs for the first time in their lives.
I think I've seen worse, and it was a good show, and I don't think he had any reason to close the curtains on it.
It's not something that most of us haven't already seen.
Some people are saying Joe Clark is taking the heat for all this just to get himself a little more publicity, and perhaps even some publicity for his movie. What does Clark think of the accusations?
They say I'm working on my sequel. Well, maybe they're right.
From New Jersey, Rosanna Scotto, Fox News, Channel 5.
The mayor of East Orange, New Jersey, could be in big trouble.
In fact, a movie has been made based on his life. But now, as CNN's Jeannie Mose reports, Clark's in some trouble himself.
Even the makers of the movie Lean On Me couldn't have dreamed this one up. Remember Joe Clark, the real-life principal famed for dishing out discipline at Eastside High.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to get to your class.
Well, now Joe Clark has been given a 5-day suspension, all because a variety show showed a little too much variety. Juniors and seniors were assembled in the auditorium when Wanda D. began stripping male dancers down to their G-strings.
I wasn't shocked because you see the same thing on television and more.
School officials were less blasé. They brought down the curtain, and though Principal Joe Clark happened to be out of town that day, the superintendent of Patterson, New Jersey schools